How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have the second war of season 30 up against NewN, who finished third last season. And they do have quite a few notable players with YouTube channels that I know of, such as Bittersteel, MP Blaze, Fintech, KT1 of course, and a few others. So I was hoping this would be an interesting one. So today I'm starting on part 6 in section 1, then playing back up in section 2, and in section 3 I have a rank 4 Doom mini-boss, and then a Magneto boss, which is what Sorcerer is for. So I brought Negative for the rank 4 Doom, and then Archangel will handle the rest of the fights. So first up we have a Diaper Boy with Strikeback and Aggression Fury. So I remember the last time I fought him here was just a few weeks ago during the off season. I used Quake and got him down to 9% before my finger slipped and took a medium non-crit hit which almost did 1,000,000 damage. So yeah, you really don't want to get hit if he has a few passive furies, cause you'll probably die. But today we are not using Quake, we have Archangel, who I do prefer for this fight because he's just much better at handling the fury stacks. And of course he has great damage over time and he can shut down the region quite easily. I just gotta be mindful of his rage charges, stop hitting him when he hits 25, because then he goes berserk, unstoppable, unblockable, and a lot more aggressive, which can make the fight easier to handle because then the intercepts become a lot more consistent. But if you don't want to intercept, you can still throw your special attacks, because there's also Strikeback which you can use to advantage, just to get some easy openings by baiting specials. So pretty quick and easy with Archangel, and we're going to be carrying on with that trend because next up we have a Mr. Negative with Bubble Shield and Power Focus 1. So another fight where I don't really have to worry about the nodes because the fight will be over before they can really make an impact. I don't even think I blocked 5 times in this fight, so Bubble Shield was pretty irrelevant, and he only threw one special attack which could have been avoided if I blocked more, but I didn't want to have to even think about Bubble Shield, so I just baited it. It's not that hard to dex, even with the inverted controls if you are just aware of it. By the time he threw it, he already had 3 Neuros on him, so he didn't gain any light energy, therefore no inverted controls. So now we have a bit of a more stacked fight for Archangel, which is going to be the Stryfe with Power Snack and Backup Recovery. So I was actually looking forward to this fight because it's something different. I've never seen Stryfe being placed here. Usually I see Mystics like the rank 4 Dooms. You get the occasional Penny Parkers who I tend to Quake, although lately I have been seeing more skill champs being placed here. I think people are starting to realize that placing a Mystic on a node that science champs or certain science champs are very good against might just not be the best idea. So at least Stryfe is a bit more interesting, although the only real annoying mechanic here is the glancing, which wasn't really a problem in this fight. The only thing I needed to be aware of is giving him too much power or him having too much power and not enough neurotoxins when backup recovery triggers. Which is exactly what happened here. He started gaining power, but I carried on hitting him and pushed him to 3 bars of power because I knew that I'd be fine since I had used an invulnerability boost for this fight. I just had to make sure that his special 3 doesn't apply any damage over time. Although I did have 4 neurotoxins on him when he activated it, so that should bypass any abilities it triggers. Also, I'm not sure if I've ever seen Stryfe special 3 before this point, so it was pretty cool to look at. In fact, I'm probably gonna make it the thumbnail. So not too bad with Archangel, could have been a bit faster if I didn't take the special 3, but it's whatever. So now I'm gonna apply my last set of boosts, and I am using a 6-hour health boost because I'm low on the standard ones. So now we're gonna move on to our section 3 fights, where we first have a rank 4 Doom with Hurt Locker, Power Focus 1, Now Special 1 and Power Drain. So Mr. Negative is really good for this. The nodes themselves aren't too specific, you just need a really good Doom counter. So because he's pretty stacked, I try to optimize my damage more than I would care to sometimes. So I go in and do the parry heavy and just to build up some light energy before converting. And I do want to have ideally 9 before I convert. So I'm making sure I just parry the right amount of times. Then afterwards I get my 9 dark and start dropping basic combos. And then after that I'm going to carry on doing the same sort of rotation, just parry heavy. The heavy is just for the fury buff to make the light energy conversion a bit more efficient. So now what I want to do is get to at least 11 while building up to 2 bars of power. So you just need to dex and parry a few times. Then finally I have 12 light, and when I go for the evade, Unfazed strikes again, and this is why I use Invulnerability for Mr. Negative instead of Advanced Power, which is often used to get the fights done faster. At least in this fight, he only did one medium attack when Unfazed triggered, but that does apply a shock, so I had to avoid him a bit so he doesn't passively stun slap me. But he still slapped me because I just did not expect a heavy attack from that range and situation. But I did get off my special 2 with 20 Dark and 1 Fury buff, which did a good amount of damage but not quite enough to take him out. So on my second special 2, I didn't care about optimizing damage since he only had 10% left, so I just threw that with 7 Dark Energy, and that triggered the delayed blast from Hurt Locker, but I was fine because I had more than 50% health. And it's my last negative fight, so I didn't really care about the health loss. So yeah, Unfazed is really annoying when you're trying to use negative, and I suppose Ulsa as well. So now we have one more fight, which is gonna be the high ground Magneto boss. And for me, this is the most boring fight to talk about, just because I've done it so many times before. I did it just 2 weeks ago against Matrix. I did it in my rank 3 Sorcerer video a couple of months ago when she was still unawakened. I've probably done it at least once in between that time with her being awakened. And before I even had the 6-star, I did it with my 5-star a few times. And that's just me talking about the fight. I've done it so many times where I either just didn't record it or I just didn't make a video about it. So yeah, a pretty common placement and fairly easy boss for Sorcerer. High ground is barely an inconvenience because you'll see me finish with a lot of health. And I don't even have to try to manage the altitude charges. I just fight like normal and eventually he goes down. Sorcerer just has the utility to counter pretty much everything in this fight. The standard block damage, the block penetration, and the high ground energy block damage is all no match for her regen on block, and her high energy resistance. Then there's the slow to prevent unstoppable, which is why I start in the blessing of Econ with the power boost. And of course she nullifies, so those adaptive buffs don't really stay up for very long. And that's just good for feeding her power with dispersion, because she is a champ who generally benefits a lot more when the opponent has lots of buffs. So a pretty standard Magneto boss fight with Sorcerer, and this was the last fight of this war. We ended up winning by 3 deaths to 6, so pretty happy about that. And yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for this one. Would have liked to make this video a lot sooner. In fact, I actually created this project almost a week ago now. But it's just been such a hectic week with map 8 starting and of course the usual Alliance War stuff. And me now being an officer, getting more involved in the planning of those things and other responsibilities. So hopefully I can get out some map 8 gameplay fairly soon. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys found this interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.